Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene was mocked for putting forward a new conspiracy theory that didn't involve
Jewish space lasers,
but it did involve the end times. She was mocked on Sunday for actually doubling down on a statement she had made on Friday, and that is about earthquakes and solar eclipses and how they are not just natural phenomenon, but a sign from God to remind the faithful to repent, for the end is nigh, or something. On Friday, the Republican representative posted this to X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. There are many more things to come. Apparently in reference to the solar eclipse. She then says, I pray our country listens. Okay. Now, believe it or not, most people do not believe that earthquakes are caused by the gay, as evidenced by the community notes saying that Monday's eclipse was predicted 100 years ago. It will not have been caused by contemporary actions, and that earthquakes occur naturally and happen on average more than 30 times a day across the world, although many are too subtle to feel. And by the way, there's actually been an increase in earthquake activity, not once again because of the gay, but because of the increase in hydraulic fracturing in order to get at the natural gas, especially in the Eastern Seaboard Appalachian region, where there happens to be a lot of natural gas deposits. Weird how some of those earthquakes had happened around there. Very, very strange stuff. Or not, if you actually understand and believe in science. Yes, I know. But of course, we're talking about facts and logic here, all right? We're talking about evidence and reality versus whatever Marjorie Greene is doing, which basically boils down to
just forget about the evidence.
So she doubles down, of course. In response, Greene posted again on Sunday morning and included a reference to the biblical passage, Luke 12:54-56, in which Jesus tells a crowd, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. How is it that you don't know how to interpret this present time? And adds, yes, eclipses are predictable, and earthquakes happen, and we know when comets are passing by. However, God created all of these things and uses them to be signs for those of us who believe. Okay, then how do you know that something that has already been predicted is a sign? You already know it's coming. It kind of negates the whole it being a sign thing, because a sign is supposed to be something that is recognizable and surprising at the same time, so that you look at it and be like, well, that is not normal. That must be a sign. You know what? I'll take it as a sign when Marjorie Greene actually says something that is not batshit insane. That would be a sign. Here's what Marjorie Greene is doing. She is pulling out meanings that are entirely subjective, and as such, mean absolutely nothing. All right? From things that are, again, that are natural phenomenon. All right? Now, her double down caused even more pushback. This is Navy veteran Jared Ryan Sears writing this. So you're doubling down by saying that your God, when forming the universe over 14 billion years ago, planned out that Americans would become more tolerant and accepting to those different than themselves in 2024, something Jesus taught people to do. So God planned a minor New Jersey earthquake and a solar eclipse in order to tell Americans to vote for Trump so that we could usher in an era of hatred, bigotry, and suffering? Yeah, that makes your initial tweet better. Former Senate candidate Christopher Heyer also chimed in, saying, stop the nonsense and go do something effective with your time. Go pass legislation. Spreading fear with the end times rhetoric won't go unchecked. The United States is already divided. We don't need our elected leaders to further that division. Grow up and change your ways. Maybe get right with Jesus. Okay, anyway. Representative Ted Lieu linked to an article on lightning striking the Statue of Liberty, saying, God created clouds. God created lightning. Lightning struck the Statue of Liberty. Yes, clouds are predictable and lightning happens. However, God created all of these things and uses them to be signs for those of us who believe. I'm way ahead of Greene in seeing signs. Signs. Everywhere there's signs. Blocking out the scenery. Blowing my mind. Or is it changing my mind? I forget the lyrics to that song now. Another says, you just don't know when to quit, do you? While you're at it, you should look up what Jesus talked about in Hebrews 13:4 regarding adultery and adulterers. Yes, nobody's going to forget that whole thing with the tantric sex guru. Another asks, if you believe God is sending an eclipse as a message for you, perhaps you should look at it. Just saying. Okay, I do not recommend staring into the eclipse. It's a bad thing that will cause eye damage. To avoid that, if you're going to watch the eclipse, you need to use safe solar viewing glasses or eclipse glasses or a safe handheld solar viewer at all times. Do not stare into it. Please, I'm begging you. That said, if it were only so easy to mark yourself safe from the harmful effects of being around Marjorie Taylor Greene.